You are now entering the Cue the Muses podcast. Please reserve submission of any joy meter statistics until after the program.
Good evening,
everybody. Whoa.
Friday morning. Hello and welcome.
Might as well be. It is almost Friday morning. It's closer to that than it is Thursday morning.
Well, anybody listening is going to be tuning in on a Friday morning. And if you are tuning in on Friday morning, say hello to one of my best friends, the biggest, tallest, goofiest son of a bitch that I love on this podcast, Bofa Jet.
What up?
Booyah, ladies and gentlemen. You asked, we delivered.
Yeah.
Bofa, how are you?
Oh, I'm living, man. I'm here.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. I like the enthusiasm. Very optimistic.
Oh yeah.
I like that Darth Vader is back there chanting for one more.
He's one more.
Sunset.
One more something.
One more. Ladies and gentlemen, Bofa is in the Cue the Muses series. Hence, he has earned the rank and right to be our second guest.
Yeah.
Third guest.
Third guest.
You're the third
Yeah.
one.
Timbo,
On our-
I don't math good, so
I don't math good either. But yeah, Bofa's our third. He is going to be featured in the next episode. He has a character. You might have seen his character in the preview if you are familiar with the first Cue the Muses preview for episode 1, which is kind of a preview to establish what the hell Cue the Muses is a little bit and that we exist. And at the end of that, I skipped ahead and threw a shot in there of Bofa playing his character. So that was worth it.
in the original trailer.
The original trailer.
Oh yeah. I'm stoked to see how it turned out. So ready.
Well, it's still turning out.
Yeah.
It's still a work in progress. It's an edit. I'm weekend warrioring it, and then during the week trying to do a few hours here, a few hours there. But it is exciting. I've also got the song that's unveiled in that episode, because each episode unveils a new song off the album as a music video. And I've gone ahead and transferred all that footage up, and I've started opening all that up onto some super fast M.2 SSDs that I've gone ahead and invested in for even faster, more efficient editing on these massive scale music videos. So I've got all the tracks loaded in, and I've got it all organized, and I've got our takes separated and stuff. So I'm gonna on the other 2 episodes, I did the story and then got to the music video, then edited the music video. In this case, I've decided I really want to ping pong back and forth a bit, and I'm going to edit both simultaneously, kind of trading back and forth. And that will give me the ability to kind of step away and come back, just like a little bit more periodically. See, is this still funny? What stands out about this that's dragging, that kind of thing, rather than just being so only in that one world for so long and kind of, getting washed away in it. Not that I think the results haven't been stuff we think is fun and awesome, but it's just a different way to try it out.
Yeah. I can't wait.
I'll open up a couple of doors for you that might not be open otherwise. Like, I would imagine, if anyone who's watched the show knows that the music video takes place inside the mind of the Muse host. So we hit our portal buttons, we teleport inside the mind of the person who we're trying to save or wake up or collaborate with. And once we're in there, it's like their inner mindscape. And so if you're bouncing back and forth from the edit with Bofa's character, his name is Dobbs in the show, and then back to the music video that's inside Dobbs' mind, it may give you some intuition, if you will, on something. And there's got to be some element there,
Yeah, the edits themselves are completely different styles. A music video versus a bunch of scripted scenes like we've done together. And I think just that in itself keeps it fresh. Like, you never get, there's anything that takes as many hours as this does, you start kind of getting a little bit lost in it, and I just think I'm interested to see if this keeps it spicy the entire time, start to finish. I enjoy all of it, but there's always those chunks of time where you're kind of laboring to just get shit organized, to be honest. You know, you're just trying to get it all set up.
I don't know. We were laughing the whole time while we were filming, so
yeah.
That end product ought to be good.
I think so, man.
Bofa, there's a sort of blooper reel that Ash has like compiled. I've seen it. I've seen what it is now.
I can only imagine.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's still growing. It's still growing. And I kick myself in the ass because I actually have a blooper reel for each episode or each scene that I've edited, because I'm editing the scenes in their own individual projects and then merging them all together later. And then I forget before I move those massive project setups off of the fast editing drives, because I've completed the scene, I forget to export the damn blooper reel. So in order to get back that blooper reel that I built up for each scene, I have to load back up the whole project, and I got to relink all the different files from all the. It's like I totally kicking myself in the ass. But that ends here, because this time I'm gonna remember.
You're dedicated.
Yes, yes, indeed,
Focus.
indeed, absolutely. Now, Bofa was also he's bass player Fighting Giants. We did a visual EP. Amazingly, I think this was 3 years ago now.
Four.
That's
20. It was 2019.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was amazing. Now, Bofa, what was you had a special weapon in that, and also that was your first full music video experience, I think, right?
It
for
was.
production.
Yeah. You
you
kicked my ass.
Yeah.
I was ready to die.
It is. Isn't it surprising how challenging it is physically to be in a music video?
Yeah. Like I was ready to melt right there when we got done. Like I said, I went home and passed out immediately, and my feet hurt for days.
Yeah, totally. And that was the first day, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it the most unexpected, difficult time? You're in a band, you're like, oh, we're gonna go do a music video. It's gonna be the best day ever. It is the best day ever. But when you don't, it's also the worst.
You get there in the morning and you're like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. And then like midway through the day, you're like, oh man, I'm kind of tired. And then
still going
15 hours later, I'm like, just kill me, just shoot me now. Like I'm mush.
And that's not an exaggeration. I mean, it really was. We did do like somewhere in the ballpark of 15 to 17 hours that first day.
I know that one night when we were doing the band performances, I was like, let me do mine first, because I am ready to go the fuck home.
The individual ones, you wore the Lions jersey, right?
That was my Pistons jersey. No, that wasn't the first individual. It was the second night when we were doing them upstairs.
Yeah.
That I was toast, and I was just like, let's just get this over with.
Yeah, it's taxing, because it's like there's the physical aspect of just lugging gear around, getting set up, waiting around even for things to happen in the heat, no AC, just you start to get drained, and you're consciously trying to keep yourself in a certain state for a good performance. Then you're doing, I mean, how many performance shots, it's quite, and you got to give full energy every time you do a performance shot.
Yeah, there's some noticeable spots in the video. Some of them like full band shots. One of them, I think it's on the surface. You can look, and if you look at me exactly, you can just see the look of pure fucking exhaustion on my face.
Well, there's a scene in there, because remember, like we say a music video, but that we took, I think, at the same amount of time you would usually do a music video, and we shot 2 music videos, 2 or 3 different acted, scripted, stupid scenes, like just silly stuff. But there's one in particular. Bofa had a GoPro on for a couple shots. We tried it. It was like first person view. You had
here
with the hammer.
You don't have to explain it. Let me cue it up. Give me a second here. I pulled out a couple of clips for today's episode.
Yes.
Let me just navigate to it in my folder here. Bear with me. You guys cover.
While Ash brings it up, the one scene where it's first person view, David was literally like done, dead.
Yeah, he was dead. He was literally sitting
down.
where he was.
Sitting
I
down.
got it right here.
And his
Let's,
ass kicked. A fist bumped him.
The fist bump. Just
let's
the
try
random
and cue
fist
this
bump.
up here, guys. Here we go.
It was totally.
The fist
Dave,
bump.
we were still filming, and Dave was just dead.
He couldn't even move out of the scene. We're like, no, I think I said, no, you can just sit there. You should look exhausted. Like you're tired of fighting. All the
I hit them, and I turned around and I just yelled at him, and I was like, "Fist bump me!" And he went, "Huh?" Dink.
It's awesome.
He never gonna look up. That was so good.
That was such a cool video, guys. I mean, the music was so good. I love, even just revisiting it for a moment to pull out those clips. I was like, man,
there's so many running gags in it too.
Oh, I know.
Dave was on that Robert De Niro face.
Oh yeah, the De Niro face.
He totally was, and
I
mean, that was such a random.
Beers. Me with the beers. Anytime I've ever showed anybody that video throughout the years, be like, just watch. And I've had people be like, "Where'd you get another beer?" Like I was like, "That's the gag. You don't know. Like you'll watch me throw a beer down. Next scene, I got another one in my hand."
I know. I also pulled out this little behind the scenes thing where you were still using the hammer, that head cam. I'm gonna cue this up real quick. It was only a minute as well.
And we ended up using it, didn't we?
Yeah. Action!
Tune me! Go watch out for Rick.
Awesome!
Okay, so you're here, okay, and go. Down, okay? He's down like that. I want you to run over and then right hand like this. Come up, and boom, like that. Action!
Yeah, I think we've got it, dude.
Awesome.
Let's send them home. What a cool experience, man.
Those kids are having so much fun, man.
Everybody from the Tiger Rock Academy is a fucking warrior. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah.
All those kids, like Kyron was like 3.5 feet tall when we did that. And he's now he's almost as tall as me. I know all those kids are like full-blown adults now.
Yeah,
but they're
married and have kids. Some of them.
Yeah. All of them.
They were having a blast, and their parents were getting into it while everything was going on. They're all ooh ah, and like
Jason Adams was such a cool person to
he was so cool.
Happen. Yeah, he still is. They still have the dojo in Crawfordville. He's a black belt in BJJ now. I mean, when I trained with him, he was a purple belt. He got his brown belt. He started the class as a grappling class because you can't technically you can't train people. You can't be an instructor in BJJ unless you're a black belt, I think, maybe brown. There's a weird rules. So he was a purple belt, but he was instructing as a grappling class. That's when I started with him. And then he's just so awesome. He's just such an athlete, man. He went from his purple belt, tested, got his brown belt, got his black belt, all within an unfathomably short amount of time. And like now he's probably he's probably maxed out by now. It doesn't. Well, once you get to that point, that you don't excel in the levels anymore. You just continually get more badass.
Yeah.
That's the level he's at.
Yeah, I've heard black belts discuss that ultimately there's different degrees of black belts. You know, it's like even I've heard black belts say, I'm a black belt, but I'm not the kind of black belt that blank is, you know, like there's still that many
degrees or whatever, ain't it? Like some people like, oh, I'm the third degree black belt. And
well, I'm wondering, I don't, in jiu-jitsu, do they do?
They don't. Jiu-jitsu doesn't have degrees. Taekwondo has degrees. Jiu-jitsu has a different thing where there's only, I don't want to missay, but there's only a couple of colors of belts. And when you get to black, it's kind of like, that's it. There's a couple of other belts after black, but like the top belt is called a coral belt, and it's like a coral snake. It's red, yellow, and black,
platinum and diamond.
But
that's
like
what I would, that's my school.
You have to actually be a member of the Gracie family to get that. Like you're not even eligible to get that belt. It's such a traditional.
Well, that's not fair.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
You know, I guess if somebody with a black belt taps out someone with a coral belt, then
yeah,
and then they're gonna have that discussion.
Yeah.
I get your belt now.
I miss getting to do classes like that. It's just there's just not enough time. Something's happening here. My screen's going crazy.
Uh-oh.
What'd you do?
I saw a flash, but I think it was on Bofa's screen. I thought, no.
Could have been.
Did you guys got a lot of storms up there, didn't you? It was like,
yes.
Oh, my power went out twice last night.
Mine was out for a good chunk of time. I was on the generator.
Yeah. Mine flickered a bunch, and then it went out for like 20 minutes, and then it came back on. My internet was out all night last night.
I was gonna say 20 minutes ain't bad at all. I'm jealous.
Must be tough. You had to go back to the paper mags, didn't you?
You poor soul.
Like a caveman.
Caveman.
Yeah, that's definitely like caveman territory.
All of sandpaper.
Analog.
Oh man, yeah. But so the Giants video was its own thing. We've been talking about that thing for a while now. But Bofa, you also came in. We were talking about this character, you know, before you were on board. Ash and I were talking about this character. I think it had a different name in the beginning. It was like still Dobbs, but it was Dobbs something else. But that doesn't matter.
I think Dobbs Dorian was.
I want to say maybe it was Hawthorne to start with. I don't know, but
maybe I might have changed it. Like wanted it to all be musical.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I remember being a fan of the other name, but then when you told me the new name, I liked it even more. And we were kind of thinking like, who's gonna play this person? And I think we talked to a couple, like thinking originally like big gym dudes, you know, like big muscle guys, giant, you know, oversized dudes. And it's like, well, at the end, I was like, man, it just clicked. I was like, hold on. Bofa's in the band in Fighting Giants. Bofa's, how tall are you? 6'7"?
6'6".
6'6".
Let's just say 6'7".
Just a beast.
Cool.
6'7". That was better.
I on my driver's license actually says 6'8", and I don't know why.
Oh shit! Well, that makes me wonder if I'm actually shorter than 6 foot.
My driver's license says 6'1", and my 5'10" and a half ass. But yeah, no, it was like, oh yeah, I was like, dude, Bofa needs to be Dobbs. This is perfect.
Super tall and built like the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
The fucking fridge.
And I mean, we'd already experienced the Hammer character from Fighting Giants, and that already worked. And then what's this character wield?
What did I have?
Well, it was going to be a hammer, but actually it's a wrench. I forgot.
It's a wrench.
That giant wrench.
Yeah.
But the hammer's in there. There is a weird thing. We put it in there because like there's a loose. I think there's a loose tie-in. It's not.
Well, technically, if you look at the laboratory, the hammer is in the laboratory. I haven't thought to like, where's Waldo at that it's in a shop, but it's got to be. when we're in there working on, you know, all the devices and stuff. I mean, it's in
Yeah,
there
it's
as part of the background.
It's up high, I'm pretty sure.
That's right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you know that, then it is in the shot somewhere. So yeah.
The old Buddha hammer.
Yeah, man. And speaking of which, that was made by
Michael Morgan.
Michael Morgan.
Michael Morgan made it. Actually, it was cool because we started that project out. I've got the drawing right here. Bofa was the first illustration I did before we contacted Ash. We were just talking about, man, it'd be cool if we had a comic of all of us. And this is the original drawing. I drew a Bofa wearing. He's nice and slim. He's got guns.
I wish I fucking looked like that.
He's got the beer can. He's got the package. And he's
basketball
got,
shorts and fucking tuxedo, sleeveless tuxedo t-shirt.
This was the concept, and I gave that drawing to Michael Morgan, and Michael, dude, just it was
because
like,
I specifically asked you to put Buddha on the hammer.
yeah. The
okay.
only thing that Michael changed is
Where it's at. It's on the head of the hammer instead of
he put it on the face, so when you pound somebody's face in it, imprints Buddha on their face.
That was
we did miss an opportunity to show someone
so.
with like a bruised face with Buddha on their head.
Totally,
did that as a tribute to old Alan Buddha Vasquez from Element 55 from back in the day, man. He was my buddy, and he passed away years ago.
Oh my goodness! Okay,
he was a bass player in Element 55 years ago, and they used to play with us all the time.
He was an amazing musician, man. Didn't he?
He was so cool.
He taught those guys, because Element 55 was a bunch of younger guys with him, and he taught all those dudes how to play.
They were younger. Like when we first found them, when they first came around, they were all like early 20s, and they had Sarah, their drummer, was 14, a 14-year-old girl drumming with them, and she was phenomenal,
covering Tool songs and stuff.
Yeah. She was
wow.
Great. Oh, and her
Where
parents
is she
were
now?
Awesome. I grew up, and I don't even think I think she still dabbles, but I know she's not like playing in a band or anything now. No.
Oh my God! Look out, Timbo. We might have to go hunt this girl down and replace you. I guess she's not 14 anymore, though.
Oh no, this was
this was a long time ago.
16 years ago. So.
She's 30.
Yeah.
Don't show her age.
It is interesting though, guys. I mean, can we level here and be honest that, you know, if we had, you know, more females in this band, that would probably be more successful? What do you think?
It's a rare thing. It's like we have,
because in rock there's not as nearly, it's definitely male dominated
now, though. They're getting more prominent though. Like, man, fucking Spirit Box is killing it.
Yes.
Ginger. There's a bunch of others.
Ginger was amazing. Spirit Box is amazing. Nadira's amazing.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, Nadira is like this untapped. I mean, obviously we've made.
Is she doing anything now?
Stuff. Yes. Yeah. She's working on something very exciting. Yeah.
She moved to Jacksonville. She's in a new group, and I don't want to mispronounce the name of the group, but she sent me a sneak peek track. It's sick.
I know, because when I saw a while back when she left Shadow of the Earth, I was like, no, God, I hope she like ends up doing something else.
She seems determined. She's going to keep being. I would think that she's just going to keep participating in different opportunities and projects, and she's versatile enough that she can hop into a lot of different.
Our remix of Second City with her on it is fucking tits.
We released that with the second round with Nadira on Second City, and it's funny because when we wrote that song is like a part 2. It's Second City. There's a song that Kurt, David, and I did with Jeff and Tim Matthews in the 86 The Earth band called This City is Haunted. That was our title track for our album. And that's part 1. And the Second City is a continuation of This City is Haunted. And the song, both of the songs are about the same thing. Both of the songs are about the Tallahassee local scene and how bands come and go, and there's great bands, there's not great bands, but it's like the place, the town itself is just like musically haunted by the ghosts of these bands that aren't there anymore. But everybody remembers the music because the music doesn't doesn't go away. The music's forever.
Yeah.
And the original the lyrics for Second City was with Big Rob. You know, I collaborated with Big Rob musically on that song. We recorded it and I sent him the track, and we wanted him to do the vocals on it in the studio. It just didn't work out, but he did write the lyrics. He wrote the first and second verse. I ended up screaming it kind of improv in the studio just to get a track, just to get something on the track. And then, you know, it was never supposed to be me. It was supposed to be Rob. Rob performed it with us at the
Our
first
CD, our CD release. Yeah, that first time. And it was sick.
And then when we started working with Nadira, I was like, Nadira is the inner muse of Rob's character in Cue the Muses. And I asked Rob, I said, what do you think if Nadira sings your words on this song? And he like gave the big green light. You know, he was like, absolutely, I totally support that 100%. And it turned out really cool. Really cool.
Good. Yeah.
Totally. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, she put out a clip. I think she put out one of the clips from that newest track. We're going to put it on publicly. Yeah. So people know it's gradually getting here.
Yeah.
And then
I'm gonna look the name of that up because
I know I feel terrible. I can't remember the name of the group.
It's posted on there. I'll be able to find it real quick. Keep talking. I'll check.
Oh, don't do the lights. No.
Things are bumping around over here on my desk. I was out of town last week. I disassembled many things because I had to take a lot of shit on my shoot, and then I've put it back together, but haven't gotten to test it, and so I see things are misbehaving here a little bit. But last week was a massive week for travel and craziness. I unfortunately was not able to attend what Dick went out and did, which is he went to the second Spookala event where Cue the Muses attended along with representing a few things. Yeah, what's in do? Oh, cool! They got a picture and everything.
Cursed Affliction.
Boom.
Cursed Affliction. Go to Facebook,
them guys.
You can see some. That's Nadira's new band from Jacksonville coming out. Heavy.
The way
she
we
can
like
hold
it
down too. Yes.
Sorry. So what did I do? What did I do?
You did Spookala round 2, and you met David Arquette.
I met David Arquette on day 2. So okay. First of all, I want to thank a gentleman, a gentleman and a scholar who lives on this world, and you two know him. His name's Jason Sauer, former PR guy from X1.5 Tallahassee. Amazing promoter, very kind dude. I can't say enough nice things about Jason. He saved my ass. Ash couldn't make it. Our display that we set up, it wasn't Ash's fault. It was my fault, but our display's very heavy, and I never would have got the stuff set up. Sauer agreed to meet me. I went, picked him up on the way over there. He came and just helped me set up, hung out with me at the booth. And that first day was just like, it was such a stretch. I'd flown in from a work thing in DC the night before, got in super late. Jason helped me out, got everything set up, helped me with like the merch set up, and he had good ideas on how to place everything. Anyway, that first day was it was fun. It was like whirlwind. I mean, it was over before I knew what happened. And then day 2 started, and I went out there solo. It was just me. I thought I was going to be able to bring my son, and my son got double booked because he had his high school marching band exam, and I didn't know this. But his school went and performed at this hub with all the other schools in this district, and like they won because they're badass.
Nice.
Nice.
And, but I was there at Spookala all day, just me at the booth, and it was an amazing day. Like the drawback is I didn't get to leave the booth. Thankfully, thank goodness. Another shout out, Jesse. Jesse from Shadow the Earth, the guitar player from Shadow the Earth, was there on Saturday with his family, with his boy and his wife, and they were there all day. But man, they would come by and check on me. He's like, "Hey man, do you need to go take a piss? You need something to drink?" I was like, "Yes, thank you." And
That's great that they were there.
like, yeah, if it wasn't for them, I'd have been really, really bad shape. But what that did is it really let me help identify with people and to really talk about this thing in a way that I didn't think about the first time, because Ash, you and I were set up and we're like, we're not selling anything. We're just trying to have this booth to promote what we're doing. And like I got to the point where every time I would catch people, if you don't say anything, they just walk by, they look at it, they see the display, they see the TV, it looks cool, and they keep going. But as soon as you reach out and a friendly face and interact, they really look at it and they listen to me pitch it, and I see their eyes get wider and bigger.
Right.
Like, what? Oh, this is my stuff. It's like, hey, man, we're not selling anything. My name's Dick, and I'm in this project, Cue the Muses. So if you think about this, I'm like one half of this creative team that started this thing. The other half, his name's Ash. He's not here. Think of me as like Jason Mewes to his Kevin Smith. Okay, so I can play the guitars, I can write songs, I can hold the cameras, I can do that. And after 100 hours of shooting video, everything gets tossed off to Ash, and then 300 hours later. Like 300 hours later, there's an episode, and it's awesome. And it's like, and I would pitch this like kind of goofy version of myself that is myself to these people, and really let them come in and feel comfortable looking at this thing with me, where I'd say, look, I'm allowed to brag on this because I didn't do the edit. I mean, I held a camera every now and then, but I can tell you that these are the best music videos I've ever seen because I didn't actually make it. I'm in it, but I didn't actually do anything. And that goes for the Giants video too. There's a couple points, especially on Sunday when Kyron was there with me. I put one of our flash drives that we made 100 of with
the FG.
I popped that bad boy on the TV,
cool.
and I put it on a loop on the Fighting Giants video for a little bit. That got some people interested too. They're like, "What is this?" I was like, "Oh, this is the beta version of Cue the Muses. This was the inception of what kind of kickstarted the whole thing." But anyway, that second day, I was kind of bummed out. I didn't get to talk to anybody. I didn't get to go meet. I didn't get to go meet Kevin Smith. I didn't even get to hear him talk. It was in a separate room. I didn't get. It was like I was just
for those of you who may not know, Spookala is this like horror comic convention, and people
almost like a Comic-Con kind of thing.
It's very similar, and all kinds of different artists come out, and people have all kinds of different creations and amazing costumes. And we had participated in the last one that was at the beginning of the summer in Ocala, and this was the most recent one in Tampa. But they also bring on celebrities, and there's panels where they get up and talk. And you can go get your stuff signed by them in person and actually meet them. And so Dick was there just to give that background on what you're referencing. So you were at this one, and Kevin Smith was at this. Unfortunately,
I know. I talked to some people that heard his spiel and his interaction with the crowd, and they said that he was absolutely wonderful. Like just as awesome of a person as you would kind of imagine he is, given what he creates and the things that he's into. I mean, the podcasts he does. I used to watch Comic Book Men all the time. Love that show. But felt kind of bummed out. The night was over. The security guys come through at a certain time. They're like, everybody out, pack it up. See you tomorrow. Get out. You ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here, kind of thing. And I was like, okay, I had everything packed up off the table except for our business cards. And I was looking down. Amber had texted me on the phone. She said, "Hey, how's it going?" I said, "I'm tired." She said, "Can I call?" I said, "Yeah, go ahead." And I texted her. And then the phone started ringing. And I looked up, and the man standing at our booth, like, "What is this?" It's David Arquette. Officer Dewey from Scream, like the real Scream, not Doofy, actually David Arquette.
Professional wrestler David Arquette.
And look, he's like, what is this? What are you guys doing? I was like, oh my goodness, I know you. He was like, well, yeah. And I was like, man, here's a business card. My name's Dick, dude. I was like, this is the thing. We're doing it all in house. And I gave him the full spiel, told him
Sure.
everything from AI is sucking creativity and all that. And he was like, dude, this is fucking cool. Congratulations. It's amazing. And he was leaving that night. They issued an announcement that he wasn't going to make it back for Sunday because he wasn't. When I thought back on it after I saw that, he didn't look like he was feeling well. Like he was just kind of like just wanted to check everything out, wanted to come see everything. And I was like the only one there. He stopped. He just come by and he was like, what are you guys doing? This is cool. So he's got the card. And then, so that was the end of
just found our new producer. Cue the Muses being produced by David Arquette. Who would have thought?
Then the next day, so the next day I got there early and Kyron's with me on day 3, right? Sunday. And we show up, everything's all set up. And the only day I could get there early, so I got there early and I'm looking around, got our stuff set up, got the TV on, everything's pumping, got volume up. I was like, let's go check out the other room, see who's there, and Bam Margera was there. I don't think I ever saw him, but man, on day 3, it was like the best day. Day 3 was the best day because I got there early, went in the other room, and I see this dude with his long goatee setting up this amazing fucking neon fleshy zombie green flying V guitar, and he turns around and it's Scott Ian from Anthrax, and he's like setting up his little booth and all that. And dude, he's got comic books, he's got the V, he's got these cool pictures. I was like, hey dude, it's early, they're open, I'm just like walking, I went over, shook his hand, I was like, man, hey, my name's Dick. You're Scott Ian. He was like, yeah, dude. I was like kind of fanboyed out for a minute. I was like, really cool to meet you. I was like, hey, I want to show you something. I'll be right back. And I went and got a handful of business cards, and I came back and I was like, dude, I want to get your comic book. They have a comic book that Anthrax made, and so the idea is so close to home. Like every song on their album, they hired, or they asked one of their musician friends to write a comic book story that coincides with the song. So like the writers are like, Corey Taylor wrote one, the guy from Guar wrote one, and it's this whole comic book with individual stories, famous artists, like some of the best guys in the business worked on that thing. And I bought it from him. I was like, dude, he was selling it. I was like, dude, yeah, absolutely. Let me get that. And I pitched him the show and told him about it. And I was like, can I get your signature on this thing? He's like, well, yeah, what do you want me to say? I was like, to Dick from Cue the Muses, your show sucks.
Nice.
Being the awesome dude that he is, that's exactly what he did.
That's awesome. Look at that.
That's
killer.
That fucking jump.
That's killer.
Cue the Muses, your show sucks.
So that's interesting. So their thing is that they actually had all the lyrics done. They had the whole song done, then got something made about that. Which is more traditional. Normally you have your song, then you go make a music video for it. We kind of did a flip-flop on that to some extent. We had all the instrumentation done, no lyrics, and wrote a whole movie concept, and then gave that concept over to the lyricist, the vocalist, and then had them come up with the lyrics for the songs, just knowing what the general concept was of the show.
Yep. And like not all of our songs are out, but the 2 that are out really, really do line up well with the motif of where it's at in the episode. I mean, Nadira came out with her song as the first single from our project, and it's just about, loving the creative part of life and being worried about losing it, and that energy of creativity. And then the that it kind of just set the tone. You know, it set the tone
Totally.
for exactly what this is about. Because every time I pitch the idea, this is a show about a future where AI has brainwashed humanity and stripped us of our creativity with an auto-generated song that's telling us all the wrong things. And every time I said that, it was either I love that or that's a true story. Like right
That's
now.
the thing. That's the thing, and it's like this. How much are you following this AI wave, Bofa? I mean, it's like crazy. All the shit that it's bleeding into now.
Yeah.
It's kind of in everything. It's like in all the software. Like every iteration of a new software update.
Games, movies, like music, all of it, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah. Where do you stand on it? Are you excited about certain aspects of it, or are you just?
I mean, it's cool, like for like a tech nerd point of view, but at the same time, you're like, that's how Maximum Overdrive started. Like, no.
That is how
you want Skynet because that's how you get Skynet. Like,
I know.
no.
It's crazy, right? Like it's so in the realm of possibility and where we're headed. I mean, it's inevitably a bridge that will be crossed, you know, and probably multiple times in multiple different ways, because there's like the responsibility aspect that we set into the hands of AI controlled, you know, whatever it is. And then there's the
Oh god.
I didn't mean for that to pop up right away, but
I know it's weird how it does that.
This is another AI thing that happened. Buffer, did you see this?
Yeah.
This is the 3D.
I'm happy it's you and not my fat ass gut sticking out up there with it and all that.
It's such a weird thing, but that's oh sorry. Look, there's Molly Z. I should have done this when I was doing the Spookala thing. I went the wrong way. Molly Z with his clown zombie. And hold on. I'm trying to go to the other. There we go. Yeah. The whole thing, it took a minute and a half. They scanned it, the full image. It's and that's a file for a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't think this is technically AI. This is just a new scanning technology that's now accessible for many applications, right? This is what Hollywood was also complaining about, or, you know, extras that are getting scanned on a day's work, and then they can be used and, you know, forever. Their likeness can be used in whatever feature the movie company wants to use it for. And like, fuck that, we're going on strike.
Real people anymore. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like you go in for a one day. I just became an extra on a big movie, and then we don't need you anymore. We already got you. Well, I guess they only have you in that one outfit, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's only where it starts, because then there's
where it starts.
a program that you say, okay, well, I want character number 35489. I want him a dress suit, you know.
Well, dude, you're literally, you know, my neck
pair of blue jeans.
You can already in the last Adobe conference, they were demonstrating inside of Premiere, literally tracing out like a chest of somebody walking through different variations of light. They're outside, they're walking under shade, and then past this bench, and then through this. And so you're talking about a lot of different shit happening with all kinds of different shifts and changes, not just a setting inside of one single light source. And literally you trace out the chest and like type in the word tie, and then it put a tie on him. And then he's walking through, and it's literally moving with the clothing as it ruffled. Now this is like beta. And it's like, that's not even actually, it's not even beta. They're showing where it's going, what they're working on now. And then they also have stuff that's in beta that's similar. They've
had something similar to that in games for a little while now. Bofa, you probably know, like I used to play the fighting game with the weapons, the Soul Calibur.
Oh yeah. This is one of the few games I did play. I played the hell out of Soul Calibur. I was a master.
Yeah, it's like Tekken, but they all have swords and knives.
It was better. It was my favorite fighting game of all time. Yeah,
same. Mitsurugi was my jam.
But Soul Calibur 2 and Soul Calibur 3, and then after that they changed everything.
They started doing, they did cameos. They did like famous cameos, and they were like platform exclusive cameos, like, you know,
but they literally changed the buttons. They changed the whole style and dumbed it down so you could just hit A, and it'll keep doing combos.
So you're a button masher.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it's 4 button mashers. Yeah.
Anyway, one of those games they started the create your own character, and so you could pick the character's fighting style, and you could add different parts, and, you know, like a big beaded Chinese monk necklace thing and stuff, but the way they would move, it would just move perfect and fluid by adding these different things automatically. So that I think that it was kind of maybe the inception of where we're at now.
Well, would it be able to do it through typing text prompts and then it generate new video content out of thin air is
I don't know
crazy.
if that was so much AI, because they were doing stuff like that with wrestling games years ago, back on like Nintendo 64, that you could put all kinds of different kind of clothes on people and shit like that, and
just customize the characters.
Completely customized stuff.
Yeah.
And
the AI aspect is like
automatically picks it up. Like, you're not choosing the tie. You're typing, I want a purple tie with pink polka dots. And it just pops it in. It makes
that'd be the theory of where it's going. Yeah. And so then, I mean, you're talking about it taking into account, it's going to analyze the video, figure out perspective, light shades changing, rustle of clothes, and measurements. It's got to take it, do a mesh warp understanding and interpret everything that's happening within that, and then generate. Technically, I don't know that it's out of thin air, because one of the scenarios or problems that this AI generated imagery is facing is potential lawsuits, because it's pulling from a resource of stuff that it doesn't own the copyright to, right? So tis the internet, it's pulling that stuff. Now, Adobe, because it's a professional paid platform, they're actually using Adobe stock. Everything that you reference through its image generation within Photoshop and stuff like that, it's pulling from its own Adobe stock library, which it does have the copyright use for. The end result of that, though, is that, to be honest, it's not, to me, in my eyes and what I'm seeing so far, it's not as good as something like Midjourney, where it's cheating and using access. It has access to a way larger library, and Photoshop's Adobe stock library just can't compete with all of the internet.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess it depends on what the image is. I mean, because anything can be inspired from something, right? So
aren't we doing that?
That's what I'm saying. Everything we're doing, every song I've ever written was because I heard a song that I love that someone else wrote, and I wanted to do something similar. You know, it's like, that's kind of the human way, the human evolution of artistic creation. And you know, when you put AI into it, it's doing the same thing. If it spits out something that's, you know, if you say, I want an alien that wears a mask that has a gun on his shoulder, and, you know, he's a badass and he can turn invisible, and it spits out the predator, you know, and he can turn out the predator. That's you can't do that.
Or it's just a picture of a jungle.
It's like people hear us and they're like, oh, you guys don't like Kill Switch Engage. Like,
well, that's the thing, right? You guys have heavy influences, and it's like, that's okay. That's what every single person ultimately is doing. Like, the reason that you are an artist is because you've been inspired potentially to become one. You witness something. So we are all pulling from that. But I think that's what's unique about each person, is that you're an amalgamation of your own experiences and inspirations. But who are we to say when it gets to this point where the intelligence is kind of indiscernible, it passes the the test here of it being human, or human-like, it's doing the same thing. It's just a lot more efficient.
Skynet.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, dude, it is.
My dilemma with it is, you say you have a person, say it's Bofa, all right, and say,
let's talk about Bofa.
Yeah, Bofa has spent, I'm gonna make up a number. Bofa has spent the last 20 years working on writing a song about something that happened 19 years ago, and he's been working on it for a long time, and he finally
Bofa's 24 years old.
yeah, Bofa's 20, and he finally
I wish.
But then and he spent the last 20 years learning the skills to do it. Say it's not a song, say it's just something that's like that. But then somebody who didn't spend any time working on the skills punched into an AI and generated the same thing. Now, where's the caliper of the artist? Is the artist in the one who spent the time learning the skill to do it, or is the artist in the one who used the program to do it instantaneously?
No.
And
you answer first, and then I'll answer. You go first. What do you think?
A murder, death, kill. If somebody like I'm working on something 20 years and they come along and go, okay, hold on, and done.
We must find you a violation for the moment.
No. Like, no, I don't like that aspect of it.
Yeah. Well, it does. I do feel like I'll feel cheated, but at the same token, here's my opinion on it. There's no way it will come up with the same thing. It's only going to come up with a version, and it might be magnificent, but it'll never be my thing because my personal experience doesn't exist online. I mean, yeah, the cliff notes do of a few photos.
Dewey Cox got to think about his whole life before he go on stage.
That's right. I mean, in a way, I think it's interesting. I think it's going to force artists to have to just be that much more less perfect, more real, and it might be a healthy thing. I mean, I think in some ways the experience of this is going to help us identify aspects that do make us human, more than we realize. We don't think about this that much, but when we're pitted against something and, there's still, for instance, so I'm a camera snob, right? Like I can tell the difference between different cameras. There was a recent thing that we were talking about where a high budget movie, the creator was filmed with lower budget cameras, and most people can't tell the difference. I can see the difference, but it still looks amazing. So it's all good. But there is that slight difference that experts can tell. And I think that we're going to all become fine wine tasters of life, and we'll be able to identify those things that even better, that it's like, oh, I can tell that was created by the uncanny valley aspect of it, where you can kind of discern that something about it feels artificial. And then, oh, that real wood, there's nothing like real wood, versus or real leather, it's going to be down to that. But as far as the general consensus for, I think, a good decade, we're going to be just washed in content.
That ain't that quarter-inch MDF. That's that real rich mahogany.
That's right. I'm talking about real wood now.
Yeah, real wood.
Here's another idea. So
Ash compared AI
to wood.
Real wood. We're gonna be okay, guys. It's like real wood versus fake wood.
Real wood.
So everyone likes real wood.
In the age of making artificial wood with an AI,
sponsored by Blue Chew.
Who owns it? Like if you punch in and make a piece of wood with AI, is that your piece of wood, or is that the AI's programming's piece of wood?
We've gone past my realm of expertise. I don't know.
Right now, my profile picture is Gary Busey as the RoboCop.
Oh God, that's what that is. I was like, God,
that's fucking
Dick, that is horrible. That's so horrible.
I stole that from a page I follow called Cursed AI.
That's an AI generated image, though, right?
Yes. Somebody took an AI program and plugged in Gary Busey as the RoboCop, and this is my favorite of like 15 photos. I love that he doesn't have enough teeth in the bottom.
Nope, you got a phone
someone
call.
calling you.
Decline.
Telling me he wants to be on the podcast so bad. All right.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it's interesting that AI is as much of a thing going on, that it's so much of a public discussion, that there's even parts of contracts trying to be stipulated by writers guilds and actors that AI can't be used. I mean, And we wrote this movie a few years ago. It's not that AI didn't exist. I mean, heck, Terminator 2 was made back when I was a kid, and it's already predicted the future. But you do it just is interesting how relevant our topic is, and how much it, in a way, it kind of feels like the idea for our show. The most unique thing about it at this point is the muses. I mean, that part hasn't been, nobody has tied together muses versus an AI. That's our unique trait right there.
It's its own thing, and it's not something that people pick up on. I noticed, like, with when I was pitching it on Saturday and Sunday, I had to tell them in a way, like, we entered the mindscape of the person who is under the spell from Harmonia, and we collaborate with their inner muse, hence Cue the Muses. And then when I say that, they go, oh,
right.
Whoa, whoa. And it's I don't know that I want Bofa, maybe you did you know what it meant when you heard it, or were you like, what does that mean?
I don't think anyone could know.
Well,
really.
when I first heard it, I'm like, okay, it's a play on words, obviously. But then, like, you started explaining it to me, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, somebody who's not like a movie nerd or into sci-fi or musician, they, like, if you try to explain it to them, they might not get it right out the bat, and you got to be a little bit more in depth. But like, you explained it, and it just like clicked instantly. Like, oh hell yeah, like that's awesome.
It's like muse is a term that doesn't get used that much anymore.
Not anymore, no.
It's like we're bringing it back.
Yeah, I think that actually is a good point, in that, I don't know how many people I've explained the concept to that maybe actually aren't familiar with what the concept of muse is.
Yeah.
Especially maybe younger generation.
I've had to explain it to a few that were just dumbfounded and did not get it. And like,
what is muse? Is that band?
Your mind, open your brain. Yeah. Like,
you guys talking about that band, the Muse band?
No,
I don't like that. You guys sound like that Muse band. Nothing against Muse. That's a good band.
They are a good band. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, but then it's also, there's a show. Oh man. Gosh darn it. Like, I watched the full season last year, and I'm waiting for the next season. It's called, it's on Apple TV, and it was this
Real Sex.
Ben Stiller directed it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's like it's not Succession. That's the HBO show.
You told me about this. Adam directed it.
Ben Stiller directed it. And I want to say it starts with an S. But my point about it is that it's this amazing show. It's so good. And it's like, you don't know. It's got John Turturro in it too. He does awesome. You don't know, like, until 8 episodes in.
Severance.
Was it?
Severance.
Yes. Really, really cool show. But you don't know what the hell's going on for 8 episodes. And
it's like totally random, and you're like,
it's like, I can kind of there's connecting dots. It's not complete chaos, but you're like, what is going on? You can't figure it out. And then they slowly start to reveal it. And you still end the first season with a ton of mystery box sitting out there. You still don't, but it's so well done that it's like, okay. And
Christopher Walken's in it.
Yes, Christopher Walken's in it, dude. It's really good. It's slow. It takes
I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's very cool. It's like, it takes like 2 episodes to start getting hooked, but once you're hooked, you're like, what the fuck's going on?
It's like
you said it's on a weird platform, right? It's not on
Apple TV.
It's on Apple.
I do have Apple TV now,
dude. It's very cool.
Have you ever watched Man in the High Castle?
No, but that sounds really familiar. What was that?
It was on Amazon, but it's like an alternate reality of the results of World War II.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And like, if Germany and Japan had won the war, but there's like, these people find film reels that show the real outcome, like, of America winning and all that, and they're trying to smuggle it to certain people, and it gets into all kinds of crazy shit, and it's most people will watch it and be like, I don't understand what's going on. And it takes a minute to like actually grasp what's happening.
Yeah.
But it had like 5 seasons. That show was so good.
Okay. All right. It's going on my list.
Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. That's awesome. And that's the thing is like, there's something, you can spoon feed people a concept, or you can kind of I mean, it's so much of content is that, but there's been a huge wave as well of stuff that's not easy to get right off, that you really are slowly figuring out what's going on over the course of a season. I love that. I feel like our concept's unique enough to slowly kind of dribble out aspects of that where you don't necessarily know what's going on, but it's interesting and it keeps you kind of pulled, hopefully. And we'll see what the masses say.
It's like where our show is, there's an intuitive factor to it, but it's also stupid on purpose.
Yes. I think that's very important for people to know. And I showed it to some people.
As soon as I open my mouth,
they'll know.
They'll know.
They'll know. This guy's not serious. Yeah, people won't have any idea. We really kind of flipped that whole character. We won't give it away, but we flipped how you performed that character.
All the ideas that we had for that going up into it, and then that's the one we landed on is just
it's like
what?
It changes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's good. The footage looks great. I've got stuff clustered together. I've already started building some of the scenes. I mean, it's totally
There's one
coming together.
scene in particular that I'm really ready to see how it turned out.
What's that?
Well, you can't say.
I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, don't give it away. Is there a way to hint at it?
We could talk about it afterward.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, we just yep.
One last thing, I forgot to tell you, Ash. I met Michael Rooker.
You told me this, which is amazing, but tell the crowd.
Bofa, I don't know if I told you, and
You
people
about Michael Rooker. You told me about Stephen Ogg, you bastard.
Michael Stephen Ogg plays the guy in Grand Theft Auto.
Trevor in Grand Theft Auto 5. He was in The Walking Dead too.
He was hanging out. He was cool as hell. Yondu is who Michael Rooker plays. He plays Yondu. He plays Merle in Walking Dead.
Mr. Svenning in Mallrats.
Yeah. Fucking Michael Rooker was a riot.
Oh, I believe it.
He was in a Hawaiian shirt. He had a straw round bill hat on and sunglasses, and I think he was maybe getting a little in the sauce about midway on Sunday. I'm hanging out, and I've actually got the dick pics on the table. We made the dick pics and the Ash von Ding Dong pics.
Ash von Ding Dong pics.
Rather, here since
the only pic I've been using since you gave me my pics.
The Ash von Ding Dong special edition.
We need a Bofa D's one.
Bofa D's is coming next. I can get them made for you. I got the. But dude, so I've got them on the table, and because I accidentally had the dick pics. I'm on a side tangent here. I accidentally had the dick pic on the table, and somebody walked by and said, "Oh my God, I need that." I was like, $2 for $1. $2 for $1. She was like, give me $5, and so she got up and then left, and then other people heard about it and started. It was like a thing. It started spreading through the convention. They got dick.
That's awesome.
It was bringing them in. I was like, dude, they're coming for the dick pics. They're leaving with a card and a spiel. I'm like, hell yeah. Anyway, Michael Rooker is out, and he's in front. There's like they put us right in front of the front door, and there's like a coffee shop place to get food and stuff right there in front of the booth. And I look up, and he's out there yelling at somebody. Yeah. What are you talking about? And he's doing a little thing. And I said, hey, Michael Rooker. And he didn't hear me. I said, hey, Michael Rooker. He turned around. He said, what? I said, I would like to give this to you. He said, huh? I said, let me give you a dick pic. He walked up. He said, excuse me. I said, hello, my name is Dick, and I'd like to give you my pic. he like did a little. He spun around backwards and he threw his hand up like that. And his hand. He turned around and he says, "Thank you, sir." He fucking just left. I was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool."
awesome.
That's great.
So anyway, I had to share that story. That's
Very
like
cool.
fun, silly awesomeness. And now he has a pick that has the website on the back.
Nice.
That's right. He still got it. He put it in his wallet, so he won't.
Yes, he didn't lose
lose
it.
it. He didn't leave with anything else anyone else gave him. That is the singular artifact from his experience at Spookala.
Totally. We will be cast, and
We got to check the email account.
Guardians number 4.
The Unreal. The last one was good, man. Guardians 3.
This was so good.
It was really good. Did you
I
see
still
it? Bofa?
haven't got to see it yet.
Oh, dude, it's good. It's up there with the other ones.
Is Rocket your favorite?
Me?
Rocket's my favorite.
Drax.
Drax.
Yeah, Drax is pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean,
look,
but I
Drax.
like Chris Pratt, man. I mean,
Well, yeah, Chris Pratt too.
He
yeah.
is funny, man. He's good. But I feel like this last one, yeah, Drax is really good in this last one. They do a lot of Drax in the third one. I mean,
Sweet.
it's really good. So, guys, great talking with you. And we didn't even touch on what I did last week, which we don't need to. We're going to save that for next episode. It's not exactly related to Cue the Muses. However, it might open doors for Cue the Muses down the road.
It is very cool.
It was a cool
flying.
It involved a private jet and lots of filming and fancy cars.
Mr. Fancy Car Private Jet.
Fancy pants.
Yes. I was off with fancy cars and jets while you were off at Spookala hanging out with
Limousine
Michael Rooker.
riding, jet flying, wheeling dealing. Son of a gun.
I like that character. We got to carry that character over.
Woo! That's Ric Flair.
I think you doing a Ric Flair for an episode as a character would be amazing. We might have to go with that.
I got these alligator shoes on.
I'll tell you what we need to do with AI. We need to get the AI program that auto generates the cartoon for Cue the Music.
Well, so it's
all we have
there
to
is
do
something
is
to that. It's not quite AI, but it is a program that has an algorithm that can cartoonize it, but it's still super cumbersome and time consuming, like insanely so.
Like you film it.
Yeah. We're not like, I mean, you can drop a simple effect on, but it ain't what you're talking about. What I'm talking about looks like it was drawn from scratch as an anime. However, really currently you kind of need to have filmed it to work for that way. But I know within the next couple of years that will be an option where it really will be like dropping it on and changing sliders and you'll dial it in. Nice. I mean, we're totally getting there. So by the time I finish this, maybe we will have a cartoon episode at the last song, the last episode.
As soon as that product is available, I'm getting it because
okay, all right. I'll send you a video that you'll love. Let me send you a video. It shows these guys, Corridor Digital, really cool channel, all about VFX. They do it. It looks amazing, but you can see how much work they put into the one test. But it's kind of unreal how good it came out.
Yeah,
because very good.
We could get Bofa to film himself with the webcam. We can do voiceovers.
It might open. I don't know how much the camera quality matters at that point. It's I got to rewatch that Corridor Digital episode to start seeing. So we'll get it there, guys. We're gonna get there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to our podcast.
Thank you for tuning in. We love you guys. Bofa sent
you.
Our text. He's got to pee, so we're gonna go.
Go piss, Bofa.
Yeah.
All right, we're all gonna pee. Dick, sign us off. Bye, guys.
We're at